What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we'll be heading into the Crogon Keep with Oziel. So I'm going to try to do a fast split here rather than the one where we go all the way around the back. Possible, it's just a little bit more precise. So mistakes are a bit more problematic if they happen. And the best thing to do is to make good use of ground traps and possibly something like a BGH arrow wall and a Spitfire. We're going to drop a ton of floor spikes too. And if you don't have Spitfire walls, feel free to use a combination of wall blades or wall chargers. It should basically get the same job done, except you have to double the traps. This is basically to conserve the trap space and condense the enemies. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to grab ultimate set of tools, increase the trap damage a bit, grab feeling fierce so that we can maximize our damage. We are also going to take killer buzz for even more damage, and then we're going to discount our fire traps because we're going to be placing quite a few of them, and floor spikes are already pretty cheap. So here we go.
My hunger calls me.
All right. So we're going to head towards the first gate, and we're going to basically place things there that will deal a good amount of damage to whatever's coming through.
Their deaths will be.
As well as make sure that
I almost feel sorry for them. Almost.
we won't be having to deal with too much coming from them. All right.
The enemy has opened a minion portal.
So we have to wait for them to kind of break that down, but they're going to be set on fire twice, slowed. Any bosses that come out will be pegged with arrows, and they're going to get burnt here again. And the firing of all of the fire traps should actually get you some pretty solid combos. The good thing about this is if you're using a hero that has any sort of AoE abilities, you can clean these guys up super easy. And so for that here, we're using Oziel's Desecrated Souls, or Desecrated Ground. Oop. And to finish it all off, you can do something like this, oh, there we go. Actually, we can just place it here. It's about the same. Right there works. You kind of want to just stand here as bait. But it's not really needed. Most enemies will basically turn right there anyway. And they'll do pretty well to let them. Just add a bit more fire there. And then we're going to take Dark Urges. I'm going to step out here to start setting up this area, because this is the next place where enemies will be coming out. I placed that a little bit off. It's a Fire Ogre, so the fire damage won't do quite as much to him.
They will come to me.
These are basically to catch enemies that'll be flipping on this eventually.
Is this what I'm reduced to?
And then we're going to want to put a Spitfire wall on one of the walls there. The Bouncer Bear likes to stay in the rear of any packs at the moment, so
It must be destroyed.
he will basically just be chilling in the back for a little while.
And our heroes destroyed the unstable rift, and there was much rejoicing.
He dodged almost all of the arrows. And I caught him. No more playtime for you, Mr. Bear.
Enemies are attacking on another front.
So, you want one of those? Some more slows.
They've broken through a gate.
Then we want to start getting these prepared. Along with another one of these.
They will not survive.
You can actually start damaging these guys relatively early. Oh wow, I didn't even think it was reached that far. Good arm. Lots of souls. Now we, oh, okay. Gotta be careful with those cyclopses in the back. Their projectiles will be able to pierce anything that's in front of them. Magical projectiles in this game are very weird. They don't function like pretty much anything else, especially if they have homing properties. You'll notice that a lot with both the Cyclops mages and the
I almost feel sorry for them. Almost.
who else?
This one.
The human image. The human image has some interesting interactions with his homing projectiles. Sometimes they'll just become invisible and they'll just float into you, or they'll actually go through walls directly and hit you. It's just a very interesting enemy to fight. If you don't just, you know, outright jump into his face and murder him. Because that's always the best way to go about fighting anything in this game. Hit it with the murder button. Whether that be a jar of pickled souls or whatever handy bits of magic you have at your disposal. Or if you're not magical, you know, slicing and dicing. Okay, so these guys are pretty much screwed. I don't think anything's really going to make it through there. And I don't have any other wall traps that I could place here that would be beneficial against the regular enemies. All we can do is hate on bosses, which I'm okay with. There's a few things that we'll want to do on the left to make sure that we don't have to worry about anything coming through here. We're going to place a decoy barricade over here, and then we're going to place a barricade here and here. That'll prevent anything from going through. There should be a set of explosive kobolds that will go for that first barricade, and then we won't have to worry about them ever again. Now there's one last thing, we need to put some more traps. Oh. We got a merc in the rear. Alright. It's always a good idea to just let them die to the traps. They count as combos, they'll fill up your Unchained meter, and you don't have to worry about them as much. Now, with that blocked off, the enemies should path to the right, and they'll go into an area where I don't currently have any traps, but I'm about to set up quite a few.
An unstable rift is opening. Destroy it.
They will not survive.
For this side over here,
We have destroyed the unstable rift.
there we go. Now the one thing we are not sure about is, oh, there we go, what we will be dealing with on the right side so much. This is the side that you really need to babysit the most. Because the right has lots of flipping and swinging maces going on, so they are pretty good. Pretty well taken care of. Now I'm just going to run through them in lightning ring. There's a few things we can do to make this stronger. We can add some fire here. Probably put it here. And we want to add some spikes over here.
I almost feel sorry for them.
Then we also want to make sure that eventually whatever gets through here is on fire. So those were the explosives that I mentioned before.
Our barricades are under attack.
Managed to catch the ones in the back, so we should be okay. And these guys are mostly just be heavy, so you can stack damage on them. Don't really have to worry too much about them being slowed. And this is basically where we want to be for most of this. Anything that hops over the barricades on the left is a leaping unit, so a Knoll or a Pride Hunter. And they won't, even if they get through the Guardian, actually deal any damage to your Rift, so that's safe. We can take all the coin we have here and head over here.
Howdy, y'all.
So we're going to put some BGH arrow walls up.
Watch out! Our enemies have broken through again.
Nothing here should really flip.
Almost.
Oh, these are placed a little bit too close.
Broken through a
That's
gate.
my fault. Oh well. Wait, those didn't get placed. Alright, there we go. That's what I wanted. Always take out heavy enemies quickly. Don't give them time to build steam.
Their deaths will be.
Alright, and then we want to head back to the center as soon as possible because the heavy guys on the left have a opportunity to get through if they miss those swinging maces. They won't have much HP left unless they're trolls, of course. Then we slam them with some Wraith Surges and not quite as dangerous. If you're lower level, then you can unchain there or just pop your Haunting Spirits before you get over there and they should take a ton of damage from that. Depends on how liberally you've been using your spirits. But let's go ahead and slow these folks coming out here. This boss is coming from where? Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Quick, destroy it.
So because we have the stable hand down here, I can take this out no problem.
Well done. The unstable rift has been destroyed.
And we'll use our speed to head over here.
Boss minion defeated.
So a lot of enemies are going to get through here because we did not have all of the traps up there that we need. We'll get those up after this particular wave is over. And while we're here, presents. Then we'll pop the spirits and use the ectoplasm to take out the groups that are here because that's just going to be quicker. And there we go. So if you want these guys to go around a bit more, you can place a barricade right here too. Right here is probably the perfect place. And that just gives you a little bit more time. These guys are going to come from over there again. Alright, they may actually take out that barricade that I was babysitting before. Really not a big deal though.
Our barricades are under attack. They've destroyed our
Yeah, they destroyed the one we didn't care about, so that's okay. Alright, I could have left here a little while ago because the Guardian could handle whatever was coming through there.
Our barricades are... They've destroyed our barricades.
What ran for the... They must have had a second set of barricade destroying units. Ah, they're gonna... Oh, okay. That explains a lot. That guy is always going to be the bane of your existence whenever he shows up. Always be prepared for the Dwarven Priest shenanigans. Now the bad thing is, I need to barricade that again. Otherwise, the 4 guys back here are basically going to just keep happening. Alright, that's done. So I'm just going to have to let them go around once. Going to waste a ton of my time though. They may take out... No, they actually may not go all the way around. They're probably going to hang out and hang that left at the Guardian.
I cannot do that yet.
Alright, get a speed boost. Grab another speed boost. Into a speed boost. Into a speed boost. Alright, and then close this off again. Alright, now we're just going to make our way back to the center. These guys are going to have to pass through the no danger zone again. And we should be able to get this finished in about, I don't know, 19-ish minutes. Again, most things going through here are going to just be absolutely destroyed. And we'll have a few heavy enemies that'll be swinging through this way. Still got a lot of trap space available. So we can do something like this.
Final wave!
Die. They will know fear.
That extra fire should just keep the trolls from regenerating as much. 2 before we really don't care about there. Keep in mind we placed a couple of BGH arrow walls there. Even if he lives through that, he should be relatively weakened. And this gate being the closest and having almost purely heavy enemies, you always want to make sure that that's safe first. And then, be a little bit safe just because runners.
Boss defeated!
Alright, and then that guy dying finishes the stage. That was quicker than I expected.
We won. Good. What? This is my happy face.
Happy face. So not too bad. That was a quicker success than most of the ways that I've shown to actually get that map done. They're pretty liberal with the Rift Lord time just because pathing on that map is kind of difficult to deal with, and they don't want it to be an auto fail, I guess, if your barricades do get broken through. But you can see proper use of traps on that map makes a huge difference with getting it cleared up. But that's going to be the Crogon Keep with Oziel. We're going to head into the Eventide Fortress next, and that Eventide Fortress never really feels too different depending on who you play. Like, there's so much space in this map that it's really just about how you trap and path it. And even with the pathing, like, you could try to set it up so that you go almost 100% hero damage and you're completely okay. But yeah, we're not going to do that because that takes too long. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If so, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know what you think about Oziel so far, as we're nearing the end of this. And then yeah, we'll move on to Temper, and I'll start, like, I have, I think, 3 videos to produce for hero overviews now. I have Elin, Brass, and after this, Oziel. But yeah, thanks for tuning in again, and as always, until next time, have a good one, folks.